So, you just finished dumping Jet Set Radio Future, and now you can play it on your PC through emulation. Now you can finally relive this Xbox classic in the highest quality possible. But you want to spice things up a little bit. What if you actually want to start modding the game? And that's what I'm here to do. There are various ways to mod Jet Set Radio Future, and I'm going to give you all examples of how you can mod Jet Set Radio Future. To give a bit of a disclaimer here, I am not a professional modder, and I'm also not a professional tutorial guy, but I will do my best to go into as much detail as possible on what you need to do to mod Jet Set Radio Future in any way you want to. So, let's jump right into it. Let's start with something easy. We're going to start with working with ADX files. So if you go into your media folder where you dumped all your Jet Set Radio Future related stuff, if you scroll all the way down, you are going to see the folder ZDX. Now in this folder, you have a few options here. You have background music, DJ demo. Now you're probably wondering what the heck all of this means. This is for all of the music in the game. This is for the DJK navigation voice lines, and this is for the DJK story voice lines. And then there's also voice lines for the environment, and then there's also voice lines for the Rokako Police, Hayashi, and Goji. And then it also has the Japanese voices here, but we're not going to focus on these right now. We're going to actually focus on the music. So as you see here, this is where all of the music files are, and then you see all the songs are labeled here. Now I wanted to make two distinctions here. So you can see that the songs here, like Aisle 10, Answer is supposed to be the answer, and Baby T, and Birthday is Birthday Cake. These songs are the songs that are played in the garage. These are the songs that you can go into the garage, talk to Roboy, and change to whatever song you like. So if you scroll down, you're going to see files here that says set, S or S set. So these are the medleys that play throughout each chapter in the game. These are the medleys. So these are one large file with multiple songs, and they have transitions and whatnot. And if you're a content creator and you make videos about Jet Set Radio, much like myself, or you stream it, you know that a big problem is dealing with copyright strikes, because there are a lot of copyrighted songs here, and it kind of makes it hard to stream these games. So if you're someone who is a content creator and you want to change the music, this is actually perfect. So this one's going to be fairly simple. If you're going about changing ADX files for music and whatnot, I recommend using Audacity, since for me at least it's the easiest to go with. So what you want to do is you want to grab a song that you want to implement into the game. So for example here, I have Synchronized City from Persona Q2. And I'm going to add this to the Chapter 3 medley. And the Chapter 3 medley is the medley that plays before you go into the sewers. Now, I decided to choose that because you won't be hearing that medley for too long, since you're going to be in the sewers for that chapter. What I recommend you do is that you increase the volume for a little bit here. You're going to increase the gains here, because when you're converting an audio file into ADX, when you implement it into the game, it's gonna sound quieter than how you initially started it. So I recommend turning it up a bit, not like to like boost basted levels, but like just loud-ish enough so that it could actually reflect how it sounds decently when you finally boot up the game. So I have the file here with the song. It's gonna be super extended, so I'm going to export this file. I'm going to export it as a WAV file. As you see, I have a bunch of sound related stuff here, so I'm just gonna copy here, since I have one here, I'm gonna set this as set 3A, since that's what I'm going to be replacing. And then I'm going to save the file here. Now afterwards, after you now have your WAV file, you then want to have this tool. This is the PES sound file converter. You're going to use this to convert files such as WAV, MP3, ADX files as well, and AIX to convert it to other files like ADX and IEX. So we're going to convert the WAV file into the ADX file. So we're gonna go in and find the set we just made. This is set 3A. Then we're going to hit next. Now this is important. So when you're converting ADX files, you want to be sure that you have this check mark: save ADX files with a complete loop from start to finish. Make sure you have this check mark, because if you don't have this check mark, when the song eventually ends, it's just going to be nothing but silence. Once you have your directory, it should look a little something like this. You know, this would be the file where you dump all the folders from Just Set Radio Future. The media file, you're gonna go to ZADX, and then you're gonna place it in the BGM folder. And once you hit convert, you're gonna overwrite it here. Click on yes. You are going to see that now the folder has changed. See, since it has like the most recent date here. So after you get that done, you can just hit done, or you can leave it open for later if you have more music files you want to make. So you're now going to open CXBX Reloaded so you can check how it sounds. Now this is very important when you're implementing like mods and such. When you want it to load, be sure to always go into the settings and then hit clear cache partitions. So the partitions can refresh and it will load up your new mod. So we're gonna boot up Just Set Radio Future and we're going to see if it worked. Now, if you recently downloaded the New Game Plus save file that I showcased a while ago, you're probably wondering, how do you use it? Well, firstly, you want to go to the folder where you have your CXBX reloaded. And then from there, you're going to hit emu disk. Then you're going to find the folder partition 1. After you find that, you're going to click on the UData folder, and then you're going to hit the folder that starts with 534. And then you're going to hit this folder that starts with 9927. And this is where your Just Set Radio Future save data is. Now, when you download the New Game Plus save file, this is where you want to put it. If you're downloading it from the Just Set Radio Future reverse engineering Discord, you're going to download that file and then you're going to rename it to this to be your main save file. Now, if you still want to keep your old save file, just make sure you back it up. Now, the next thing I'm going to showcase is changing the in-game graffiti. So something you want to have is the Just Set Radio graffiti tool. So with this is how you are going to change the in-game graffiti. You want to have two folders actually. You want to have a folder dedicated to modding, and then you also want to have a folder which is just the vanilla files that you're not going to change. This is only for if you want to revert something back. And then you also want to have your preferred texture editor. So we're just gonna take for an example here. As you can see, all the graffiti from the game is here, and then I also have the graffitis that I've changed throughout the game. So let's take a medium graffiti and we're going to change that. I'm gonna pick this one, and then we're going to hit edit selected. And then as you can see, it's going to open up the editing software for images, and it's going to show the graffiti. Now each graffiti has an individual ratio that they show within the game, and I'm going to put it on the screen right here. So when you're scaling the images, make sure that the images are these exact ratios so that they can look right when you port them into the game. So I'm going to use this image of Narukami and Shomi Nazuki, and then I'm going to scale it to the size of the medium graffiti, which is 384 by 256. So I'm going to do it like this. See, and now it is scaled to the side, so I'm going to cut this now. Now it's gone, and then I'm going to copy and paste it to where the medium graffiti used to be. And there you go. So then after that, you are going to go into, you're gonna export it, and then it has every file from the text file is going to show all the graffitis, but the important one that you're changing is the TGA file. That is the file that you're going to change for the in-game graffiti. So I'm going to export it, and then an important thing here, you want the origin to be bottom left. And then now we're going to go back to the GSR Radio Future Graffiti tool, and then right after you hit import selected, you are going to see now that the graffiti is now within the game's files. So we're gonna boot up GSR Radio Future again. Always remember to be sure you go into the settings, hit clear cache partitions so that your mods can load. So now we're going to get into the nitty gritty part of modding. So an important tool that you're going to need is the Jet Set Radio Future mod tool in its current version, which is 2.87. And this mod tool was created by Netos as well as these other creators here. And none of this would be possible without these guys. So major shout outs to them. As you can see, there's a source code here where you can go and download the mod tool yourself so you can start modding Jet Set Radio Future. So we have a tons of options here. We have the model viewer, texture viewer, material editor, sound editor, stage compiler. So when we go to the settings, just like with the graffiti tool, you are going to have files dedicated to modding, you're gonna have a folder dedicated for modding, and then you're gonna have a folder dedicated for reverting changes, which is going to be the vanilla files. And then you're also gonna have your CXBX folder, because every time you clear the cache, this is how it registers the new mod changes that you added. So for right now, I'm going to showcase how I've changed the icons. So if you've probably seen me play Just a Radio Future before on a stream or seen it in one of my videos, I have DJ Professor K as Rise, and you're probably wondering how I did that. So we have all the files here. So for changing icons, you're gonna go to display, and then you're gonna go to the Caricon folder. And as you can see here, this is going to show off all of the character icons that are present within the game, and you're gonna find them in the Norm 2 section here. And then boom, as you can see, there's Yosuke here, but this is actually B. If I chose to revert it, it would go back to B. So I'm going to change Roboy, for example, if I can remember where he's at. There he is. Okay, there is Roboy. So we are going to change Roboy's icon here. So when you're changing icons, you want to go to edit textures, and then it's going to load up your image editing software, and these images are 64 by 64. So I'm gonna choose an example here. I have an IGUS icon here that I want to open, and I'm gonna have this be Roboy's new icon. So once again, you can scale the image. Bop, there we go. And then now I'm going to cut Roboy, and then I'm going to copy and paste IGUS on there. And there we go, we have IGUS. So then now we are going to export this file. Export here. Replace, and then there we go, we're going to export. Now when we go back to the Just a Radio Future mod tool, you are going to hit save, and then boom, as you can see now, Roboy has turned into IGUS. So we're gonna go back into Just a Radio Future so you can see how it looks in game. So let's say now you want to change the character voices. So from here, you are going to go into the sounds folder and then to the sound effects folder. And as you can see, we have all of the characters here. So I'm going to change Roboy's voice files from when you pick him in the character selection screen to reflect IGUS's voice. So this is where his character voices are, and we are going to change those with IGUS's voice lines from Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. So what you're going to do, you are obviously going to have your sound folder here where you will have the IGUS line. Pick this one. And then of course, obviously you want to increase the volume as much as possible so that it won't be too quiet when you port them in the game. So all of the files have their own individual names. So it's going to be looking like this. It's going to be looking like PV Roboy 9. So I'm going to now export this file into a WAV file. and then I'm going to change the name of it to reflect this. So now when I go back into the tool, I'm going to select import sounds, and then I'm going to find that file that I just changed. There we go. PV Roboy 9. Going to open up. And now once you saw that, you can see that it might have changed, and then you can also play the sound to get a listen for yourself. So now we're gonna boot up the game again just so we can see if the mod worked.
I'm on a mission. Please leave it to me.
Now the last thing I'm going to showcase is how to change the skyboxes within the game. So as you can see, I have my vanilla Jet Set Radio Future folder up. I'm going to go into media, and then we're going to go into the stage folder. Now when you go into the stage folder, you are going to see a bunch of smaller files here, but the main important thing is these two files here, the tbin and the tdat folder or file. That's the one you're going to change for the skyboxes. So let's say I want to change the Chuo Street skybox to have the Rokaku Dai Height skybox. So the Chuo Street skybox is labeled as stage 11, and I'm going to have a document in the description to show what stages are what. So here it is. This is Chuo Street. So I'm actually going to copy the name of the files here, and then so now I'm going to change that into the Rokaku Dai skybox, which is going to be stage 20. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly have these on the desktop just to be sure, and then I'm going to rename them to the Chuo Street stage numbers, which is 11. So as you can see here, now you are going to rename the Rokaku Dai skyboxes to now have the names of the, I mean, you're going to change the name of the, I'm sorry. So you are going to now change the name of the Rokaku Dai skyboxes to have the same name as the Chuo Street skyboxes. So we're going to copy the name here, paste, there we go. And then now we're going to insert the files here, and we are going to replace these files. So as always, every time you change something, always be sure when you open up CXBX is to clear the cache partition. Now let's see how it looks in game. And that's going to be the end of this tutorial. Now again, I am not the most proficient modder, so if you were expecting like model imports, I'm definitely not the person to ask for that. There are definitely a lot more people in the modding community more suitable for something more advanced like that, and I hope at least what I was able to show, what I could do, was able to help you understand how you can mod Jet Set Radio Future. But if it wasn't enough, you can definitely still ask modders from the community, and then you could also go into the Jet Set Radio Future blog site, which I'll put in the description, which you can check out, and it can also give you some details about how modding works. So I hope for those who were interested in modding Jet Set Radio, I hope this video at least helped you out in some way. I thank you all for watching, and take care.